This is Valley News Live at 5.
It's a lot wider near the South Dakota border than it is here. You're looking at a live picture from our Dakota Magics Casino Skycam. Snow has been falling for hours in that area. The last report I had heard, 8 inches of snow had fallen near Ellendale, and that was early afternoon. And you can see it is impacting visibility right now. And to no one's surprise, road conditions in the southeastern part of the state of North Dakota include scattered snow drifts. And once you get south of Highway 46, the roads are said to be snow covered. Driving challenges along I-94 from Fargo to Jamestown said to be a little treacherous, so take it easy. Now here's what it looks like in Fargo right now, where we're getting snow and have been for a couple of hours. Not as much as other spots, but that will change depending on what's to come. And speaking of that, let's find out from our chief meteorologist, Hutch Johnson. Hutch?
Mike, thank you so much. I got to tell you, as you travel south of the Fargo area on I-29, things are getting pretty treacherous. And in fact, one DOT camera shot that we updated on the weather app. So download the Valley News Live weather app. There's a car in the ditch near the Victor area, right at the South Dakota border. Here's that 8-inch report Mike was talking about. Thanks so much, Dee. And by the way, if you have reports, we'd love for you to find us on Facebook. I'm Hutch VNL or valleynewslive.com. Find these posts and let us know what you have. Make sure you give us a location and a time and whether or not it's still snowing where you are. Here's where it's snowing the heaviest. Dark blues, that's the snow that's really adding up, and it's been over Ellendale since about 10 this morning. And this was reported at 1:45. So you can see the dark blues or heavy snow still there. This is in Oaks. It's south of Oaks down towards Ludden and Hecla. And there's a heavy band just off to the east of this for you in Sargent County, Foreman, down to Havana, where it's been snowing pretty heavy for quite a while in this area. Visibility is reduced to a quarter mile or less, so this is heavy snow. Here in Fargo, we're seeing it reduced to 2 miles or so and a half mile down in Richland County as you go south on I-29. Temperatures are cold tonight. The snow will continue to pile up. We'll have hour-by-hour details, but Mike, some of you down there are going to see nearly a foot of snow. Man, we talked about it last night. The colder temperatures, light, flaky, fluffy. Take it slow. Your forecast in a minute.
That's the best advice. Thanks. Big night for Bison football fans. The FCS Final Four kicking off tonight in Fargo, with the NDSU making another attempt at a national championship. Now, before tonight's big game is a football favorite for many, tailgating. Let's check in with Valley News Team's Devin Fry to find out what's happening in North Fargo right now. Devin, you got the sweet assignment tonight.
Mike, I'm getting paid to go to a tailgate party. I love this job so much. The tailgating's going hard out here. We're here at the Hitman trailer in the southwest corner of the tailgating lot. As you can see, a nice party going on over here, and joining me now is the boss of the party. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
This is Kevin. He's a retired police officer and was a former head of security for the Fargo Dome, yes?
No, I actually, when I worked with the athletic department and the Fargo Dome and helped set up the tailgating setup that we have currently going.
And these guys ended up bringing you out here. Now you're kind of a permanent fixture in their tailgate party. How'd that come about?
Well, I've been working Bison games since Old Dakota Field. And so when they first started tailgating out here, this was one of the first groups that I started hanging out with. And I'd stop in and they'd always treat me with food and stuff like that. And it was just a fun group to get to know. And over the years, got to know them very well. And matter of fact, they made even a banner for me to post. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, keep having fun out here. We're going to keep checking in with you guys, of course. But for right now, reporting from the Fargo Dome, Devin Fry, Valley News Live Sports.
Thanks so much, Devin, and stay warm out there. A reminder for Bison football fans, that game kicks off at 8:15 on ESPN2. One of those Bison fans is wearing enemy colors tonight, but for a good cause. What started out as a fundraiser with a goal of raising $500 has exploded online, now with more than $12,000 and counting. Valley News Team JC Dodge shows us how this all started and where that money is going.
I couldn't be more proud to be wearing it right now.
Words Matthew Frazee never thought he would say. As a lifelong Bison fan and co-host to the weekly FCS Fans Nation podcast, a James Madison fan asked the question,
how much money would it take Matt Frazee to wear a James Madison jersey to the Bison game on Friday?
While not interested in the money for himself, a family member pointed him to the Central Cash Treehouse, the school district's clothing and food pantry.
If you guys can reach 500 on this GoFundMe, here we go.
It was fully funded just 3 hours later.
I did not expect the firestorm that followed.
And it didn't stop there.
James Madison fans wanting more. They said how much to wear a hat, how much to wear socks, how much to throw a JMU streamer after we score in the Dome.
Decked out in all the gear, that $11,000 is going right here to the Central Cass School District, buying food, hygiene items, clothes, and supplies for students. The cool thing about the Treehouse, it's completely anonymous. Students can order what they need through an app
and have it delivered directly to their locker during class.
She says the original $500 would have gone a long way, and now that it's in the 5 digits,
we're blown away by the support and the generosity of the fans.
People from Virginia to Washington to Illinois to Texas, all over the United States, helping Central Cass. I think that's really powerful.
In Fargo, JC Dodd, Valley News Live.
And they aren't stopping there. Another podcast co-host has said if the fundraiser gets to $15,000, he'll get a tattoo of his rival team. In other news, a manager at the Fargo Hobby Lobby is telling us that 3 women pulled tasers on him and he was punched in the face after trying to stop the shoplifters. He says the women walked out of the store around 5 p.m. yesterday with 3 full carts and a basket of items that they hadn't paid for. When he approached them, he says they pulled out tasers. Then a man pulled up in a pickup, and while the women were loading up the merchandise, he got out of the truck and punched the manager in the face. Store management also tells us the merchandise is valued at around $1,000. Several schools in the Red River Valley were on high alert today after a TikTok trend called for widespread school violence. Fargo police say they're aware of the threat and had increased patrols around school buildings today. Beltrami County, Roseau, West Fargo, and Moorhead all had increased police presence as well. Many police departments around the country did the same thing. The Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension is investigating an officer-involved shooting in Willmar. Police officers responded to a 911 call yesterday afternoon of an armed man in an apartment complex who was threatening to kill a probation officer. At one point, one officer discharged his gun, another officer discharged his taser. The man was shot in the hand, treated at a hospital, and then taken into custody. Charges are pending against him. No one else was hurt.
I remember yelling, "Taser, taser, taser," and nothing happened. And then he told me I shot him.
Former Minnesota police officer Kim Potter, who was charged in the shooting death of Dante Wright during a traffic stop in April, testified in her own defense today as she took the stand. Shaquille Brewster has the very latest from Minneapolis, Minnesota.
After hearing from more than 30 witnesses over the course of this trial, Kim Potter took the stand today in her own defense and gave extremely emotional testimony. She struggled to recall the moments after she fired a single shot into the 20-year-old Dante Wright after she yelled, "Taser, taser, taser." She says that while the stop was legitimate, she didn't realize she shot him until after Wright told her as the car was about to drive off. She said she feared for her partner, Sergeant Johnson, who was on the passenger side of the vehicle, as Wright attempted to get back in the vehicle, but she testified that she did not want to use deadly force. During the cross-examination, prosecutors pointed out that she didn't call in help or try to correct her mistake in the aftermath of the shooting. Instead, they say the focus was on her and her actions. Now, Kim Potter says she couldn't remember what happened after the shooting, but her memory picked up when she was in an ambulance and then when she returned to the police station. She was the defense's final witness of this trial, and there'll be no other rebuttal witnesses, meaning on Monday we'll hear closing arguments, and by Monday night, this case will be in the hands of the jury. Shaquille Brewster, NBC News.
That particular case is being heard by a mostly white jury. President Joe Biden's nearly $2 trillion social spending and climate plan remains in limbo as Congress barrels toward holiday recess. The president said that he and his team are continuing to have discussions with West Virginia Senator Joe Manchin, a key Democratic vote.
We must pass the Freedom to Vote Act and the John Lewis Voting Rights Act. We must. And we're going to keep up the fight until we get it done.
Including an immigration provision to the social spending bill, it also has been ruled against. That would have allowed undocumented immigrants to apply for work permits for protections under deportation. The White House COVID task force offered stark warnings to get vaccinated and boosted as the U.S. a double threat with the still surging Delta strain and the new Omicron variant, which is now in all but a dozen states. The Rockettes are the latest New York City tradition impacted by COVID. 4 shows at Radio City Music Hall have been canceled. That comes at least after 9 Broadway shows were canceled performances this week. And the NBA has agreed to new COVID protocols because of recent outbreaks. Plan on traveling for Christmas? Still to come on Valley News Live at 5. How to best cash out on those travel points.
Tricky travel, particularly south on I-29. You're right at the Victor exit, and there's been a car in the ditch there over the last few photos taken there. Tower Cam time-lapse shows snow piling up at Hankinson at the Dakota Magic Casino. How much are we expecting, and what's your weekend looking like? Well, we'll get you through tonight, and we'll get you through that weekend. Join the weather's next.